most humble.
Honorable Speaker, my name is Bonface Mawira, and I'll proceed from where my learned senior, Mr. Ndego, was left. Honorable Speaker, as I was preparing to make this statement, I found myself pondering about this third impeachment process that is before you. And the question that came to my mind is it merely for the joy of doing it? Is it merely for the joy of it that the County Assembly of Meru is before you for the third time? Is it merely for the joy of it? Honorable Senators, clearly and logically, there is a problem. And the County Assembly of Meru has diagnosed that problem. The County Assembly of Meru is beseeching you to find a remedy, to find a cure to this problem. Meru is ailing, and this House has a proper medication to this problem. We are going to demonstrate, Honorable Speaker, through various testimonies and exhibits that we have already filed, that there is a serious breakdown of governance in Meru. How is the Meru County Assembly expected to function if its oversight function has been crippled by the executive? How is the Meru County Assembly expected to exercise its oversight role if summons, statements, and resolutions of the County Assembly, even recommendations, are ignored and disregarded by the County Executive under the watchful eye, cover, and protection of the Governor? The County Assembly summons witnesses to appear before it, or members of the Executive. They do not heed such summons. What redress is the County Assembly left with, other than coming before you? This House is a protector of devolution, and we beseech you to protect devolution that is on its deathbed in Meru. We will demonstrate, Honorable Senators, countless discreditable acts, all of which amount to gross violation of the Constitution and other laws, abuse of office, and gross misconduct. Of course, there is, and I'm not belittling what my learned senior said, that money has been lost, but there's a lot of misinformation out there that for you to prove or to succeed in an impeachment process or for an impeachment charge to be upheld, you need to show that money has been lost or there is misappropriation. And I'll refer you to Article 181 of the Constitution and its replica in Section 33 of the County Governments Act. The Constitution talks about gross violation of the Constitution, gross misconduct, or abuse of office. That provision, Honorable Speaker, is to be read holistically, is to be read together with Article 75 of the Constitution, which talks about conduct of state officers. And I'll read that provision, Honorable Speaker, that a state officer shall behave, whether in public official life or in private life, in a manner that does not demean the office that state officer holds. That is the provision. So it is not just a matter of misappropriation or loss of money. Your conduct as a state officer, whether in public, official life, or private life, would equally meet the threshold for impeachment. And I will not state names, but we have seen in this very republic gross misconduct by state officers elsewhere. And they have been held to account, notwithstanding that there was no loss of money. Honorable Speaker, we will show you specific acts by the Governor in our own name. And therefore the defense of "it wasn't me" does not avail itself. Of course, attempts have been made by the Governor to deflect these specific acts on our part, including through forgery of documents. And those documents have been filed, and they're before you, Honorable Senators. And those documents, which the County Assembly contends are outright forgeries, are meant to doing this Honorable House and to deflect the attention of this House from the real issues. And the real issues, for example, that forgery relates to a specific act by the governor in revoking the appointment of the CEO of the Meru County Public Service Board. But letters have been forged to cover up and to hoodwink this honorable House, to divert attention from that specific act in our own name, by our own signature, and under our own hand. We are going to demonstrate, Honorable Speaker, that the governor has persisted in a path of impunity through the county secretary and the chief of staff. And this has been raised in previous impeachment proceedings. The governor said it wasn't me. But luckily, Honorable Speaker, the law envisages such a situation as the one before you, where a state officer, a public officer, says, it wasn't me, it was so-and-so. Section 24 of the Public Officer Ethics Act and Section 35 of the Leadership and Integrity Act is about the conduct of a state officer acting through others. And those provisions are expressed that that public officer is still liable for the acts that are done through others. So, even if that act was done by someone else, the law envisages that acting through others is not a defense to certain acts by the state officer. What recourse, Honorable Speaker, does the County Assembly have if it made recommendations pursuant to previous impeachment proceedings that the governor take action against these specific officers? The governor disregarded those recommendations of the Assembly. The governor ignored those resolutions. So, should the County Assembly sit pretty as this cabal of officers continues to run Meru down, or to take Meru down the drain? These officers must be stopped in their tracks, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the events leading to this day, the fact that this motion is before you is what I would call an act of grace. It is by the grace of God Himself that the County Assembly has an opportunity to be heard before this House today. There have been many threats, intimidation, and attempted arson of the County Assembly on the eve of the debate of the impeachment motion. And this is the County Assembly that is expected to oversee the governor. Clearly, Honorable Speaker, all attempts have been made to hamstring the County Assembly in the exercise of its oversight mandate, and even to hamstring this House in the exercise of its oversight mandate. We were told at some point that the County Assembly and even this House do not have jurisdiction, and we should appear before Njorincheke for hearing of the charges. The governor, of course, will tell you, Honorable Speaker, that the County Assembly is abusing its oversight role, and that the County Assembly has been held captive by some external forces. But my question, Honorable Speaker, is how is that an answer to any of the charges? For instance, how is that an answer to the charge or the allegation that the governor illegally revoked the appointment of the CEO of the Meru County Public Service Board under our own hand and signature and name? How is this purported capture by external forces a response to these specific allegations against the governor? Many other attempts will be made, Honorable Speaker, to deflect or to divert attention from the real issues. Videos will be played by some common man or ordinary people in Meru, even abusing this Honorable House, abusing the Speaker, abusing the senators, saying that this is a house of greed and bribery. But how is that an answer to the specific charges? And all these videos are not by members of the County Assembly, they are not by elected leaders, they're just by wannabes, or whatever you may call them, but probably even political activists. There is a real attempt to shift your attention from the issues that are in the motion, so that you consider other extraneous material that is not in any way associated with the County Assembly, and to pass a verdict. Of course, one that is not just to the County Assembly. Authority that is vested in a state officer, Honorable Speaker, is a public trust. And pursuant to Article 73, it should be exercised in a manner that promotes confidence, public confidence in the integrity of that office, and it should bring honor and dignity to that office. It should equally demonstrate respect for the people. We are going to play video evidence before you of some utterances by the governor that are not only insensitive, but they do not demonstrate, they actually fall short of the constitutional requirement that a governor in his or her conduct should demonstrate respect for the people. All these allegations, Honorable Speaker, fall within Chapter 6 of the Constitution, and specifically Article 75, which provides that any person who is involved in conduct that falls short of the constitutional requirements may be dismissed or otherwise removed from office. So this is not a novelty, or this is not an invention of the County Assembly. This is the Constitution. The Constitution says that such conduct is not only to be rebuked or to be condemned, but it is conduct that amounts to grounds for removal from office. Honorable Speaker, the governor will take, of course, the underlying tone of the governor's response, and that is the posture that she will take when she takes the stand, is that she is a victim of misogyny, a victim of male chauvinism, a victim of toxic masculinity, and all these other gender attacks against her. And even in her own and even in her response, she says that she's a woman governor, and we appreciate that. It is the people of Meru who elected her, including the men in Meru County. Some of them are even here. Some others are members of the Assembly. But is gender a shield? Should your gender be a cover that you cannot be held account because you're male or you're female? Is that it, Honorable Speaker? As a panel of Honorable Speaker, is the issue of the threshold for impeachment, and the Supreme Court has had occasion in the Sonko case to state with precision the threshold requirement for impeachment proceedings. And the Supreme Court has stated, Honorable Speaker, that the threshold is not the threshold required to prove criminal culpability in criminal cases. It is not the threshold of beyond reasonable doubt. It is the threshold of above a balance of probability, but below reasonable doubt. So therefore, that intermediate standard of proof, Honorable Speaker,